Buenos días. Durante 24 meses hemos estado desarrollando el proyecto financiado.
Good morning. Over the last 24 months, we have conducted a project co-financed by the EU on the impact of the mobility package on the employees of the road transport sector. The purpose of this project was to improve the implementation of the main assumptions on the posting of workers in the road transport sector, and we focused on this subsector, so road transport. And we analyzed the impact of the new regulations, the new directives on the life and working conditions of this professional group. This project involved organizations from Italy, Poland, Croatia, Spain, Greece, and Norway. I would like to ask you to introduce yourself and also introduce the organization as part of which you worked on the project.
Good morning, Angel. My name is Arthur Kubik, and I am president of the trade union Solidarity in Norway. Yes, and we have a lot of members, and especially immigrant workers and posted workers. And we help those workers and employees, for example, they are posted to the Norway, and they work.
Encantado de saludarte, Arthur. Durante el desarrollo del proyecto, cada
Thank you
socio
very much, Arthur. And during this project, every partner of the project had the opportunity to conduct their research phase. During this research phase, we checked the impact of the new directive on the posting of workers in the road transport sector, and we also researched the impact on the quality of work of this professional group exerted by the mobility package. So could you share the most important conclusions from your research phase?
I think that's the most important conclusion, the main conclusion for our research in Norway. It is that this is, I can say, a huge lack of knowledge of this matter, because this is a complex legal matter, and especially this is lack of knowledge from the employers, but also from the employers. And sometimes I can know it that, for example, also the lawyers, they don't know this regulation because they are very complex regulations.
We are talking about the mobility package of the EU, and I would like to ask you to explain to us what this mobility package is about and what is to be achieved by implementing its assumption.
Yes, thank you for this question, Angel. The UE mobility package, which come into the force in 2022, is intended to regulate road transport through three basic rules that regulate cabotage and cross-traded operation, driving and rest time, through the regulation of tachographs records at border crossing and other condition of employment of posted drivers. And according to you, the second question, the new regulation aims to guarantee adequate working condition and social protection for drivers and condition for companies and fair competition between road transporters, with the ultimate goal of creating a safe, efficient, and socially responsible road transport sector. I think this is the main goal of this mobility package.
Arthur, de tus palabras entiendo que se desprenden hasta tres objetivos distintos en este paquete. Por un lado, garantizar esas condiciones de los trabajadores.
I can draw this conclusion that there are three areas in which the mobility package is involved. So on the one hand, it ensures the working conditions for the posted workers. On the other, the social protection, and also it is to ensure conditions that would allow the hauliers to compete fairly. Now, from the Norwegian point of view, how would you assess the degree to which those goals have been achieved, and how well have the directives making up the mobility package been implemented?
Well, this is a very good question, because the mobility package is a pretty new regulation. And I think we need the time also in Norway at this regulation, it will be applied actually in reality. We see at a lot of employees, for example, that they posted workers, for example, of course, drivers. They call us and ask about the M&A question. So we can mention this is somebody mentioned before, this is a lack of knowledge about this. But the trade unions and authorities, we are working very active at this mobility package. It will be impact in Norway too. So I think we are just in the mid of the process.
It seems to me that the most important new item introduced by the mobility package is the new definition of a posted worker in road transport. So we are now moving away from the definition that came from the directive from 1996. And so I want to ask you the question, how is this posted worker in the road transport sector defined? So what conditions do they have to meet to be considered a posted worker?
Yes, you have mentioned very important issue, Angel, because we are waiting for this definition a long time. For example, we still don't have a, for example, definition about the social dumping. And this is very important at the posted workers definition is regulated. And from the asking you question, a driver is considered posted when he carries out the cross-border transport and cabotage operation in a member state other than of the establishment of the employer. Operations, cross-trade and transport operation between two member states or between a member state and the three countries or the country of establishment of the carrier. While cabotage operation and national transport operation on behalf of others carried out on a temporary basis in the territory of the host member state by the operator established in another member state. It is also considered that the driver is posted displaces in the initial or final section of certain combined transport operation if the section of a non-bilateral or cabotage nature.
If we're talking about new items introduced by the mobility package, we should also mention certain guarantees that are offered to workers. And I want you to comment what kind of guarantees are offered to the posted workers in the host country, and primarily what do those guarantees concern?
Yes, in Norway, these things then issued that asking for are regulated by the applicable collective agreements. And most important of this regulation is the minimum rest periods, maximum working time, remuneration, including mandatory elements as defined by the national law or applicable collective agreements. So I mentioned that in Norway, this is applicable collective agreements. Health and safety at work, protective measures for the pregnant women who have certainly given birth to young people under 18 years old, equal treatment between men and women, And very important thing, this is accommodation condition for workers in the host country when the employer has provided accommodation, and benefits of expense to cover the cost of travel, accommodation, and maintenance when necessary during the trip. I think this two last additional thing is very important for employees, because without the accommodations, you cannot work actually.
Sin duda. Vamos a seguir con estas garantías que estamos estableciendo.
Undoubtedly,
Del trabajador.
you're right, but the next question concerns guarantees to the employees, and apart from issues such as the resting time, working time, and the operation of tachographs, which are new items introduced by the mobility package, I would like you to tell me what those new items are about. So what are those regulations on the use of tachographs?
Angel, I thank you for this question too, because we are also waiting for this a long time, because we know that this is a huge problem for the drivers. Many times the drivers, they are working a lot, but they are paid less, because I'm talking about the passive of time, and right now it will be changed these issues. For example, if have to be registered, so-called other jobs, such for example loading and unloading activities, helps passengers getting in on off the vehicle, cleaning and technical maintenance, or administrative procedures at customs. Usually the employer don't pay for this, and right now I think this is a huge chance at the employees and drivers getting paid for this. And another thing very important, this is also include the 45-minute driver breaks, the weekly rest in international freight transport, and very important so-called drive return. So that every 4 weeks the driver can return on this base of operation to enjoy his weekly rest.
Nos has explicado en qué consiste la nueva configuración de un desplazamiento cuando un trabajador es desplazado.
You have explained to us what this new configuration of the posting under the mobility package is about. And this mobility package also influences the topic of how posting is declared. So how do the new regulations change those requirements? For example, what documents does the driver have to carry with them in case they are inspected during their journey?
Yes, this is also a very important issue because this is more easy for the authorities and, for example, sometimes for the trade unions to check, to correct the posted of workers. And this is three very important things. The first one, this is a copy of displacement declaration in paper or electronic format submitted through the AME system interface. The second one, this is proof of transport operation carried out in the host member state. And the last one, the data recorded by the tachograph, in particular the country symbols of the member state in which the driver was present with the carrying out international road transport operations or cabotage transport.
Gracias. Arthur, estamos finalizando ya esta agradable charla, pero me gustaría plantearte dos últimas cuestiones.
Well, thank you very much. We're close to the end, and I just want to ask you two more questions. The first one concerns the guarantees that we have discussed, and that must be guaranteed to employees by the mobility package. So it says that at the end of the posting, the employer should give the employee documentation to prove that the posting actually occurred. And I would like you to tell us what specific documents have to be submitted.
Yes, it's a couple of documentation that they have to follow through the public interface connected to the AME. And AME, of course, this is very useful tool. So the first one, this is the date recorded by the tachograph, and in particular the country symbols of the member states in which the driver has been present. The second one, this is consignment notes provide transport operation carried out in the host member states. Of course, the documentation relating to the driver's remuneration corresponding to the travel periods. Very important thing, the employment contract or another equal documentations. The sheets with the driver's schedules. This is very important for the time and payment, and proof for the driver's compensation payment that actually the drivers get the salaries that he or she have rights to.
Thank you very much. And during this interview, we have learned many important pieces of information. We have learned about the challenges and problems and about the whole specifics of the implementation of the mobility package in Norway. At the end, I would like to find out what recommendations or conclusions do you think should be made so that we can guarantee that the conditions of the mobility package are implemented even better in Norway, and thus so that the quality of work of posted drivers can be improved, and to ensure better conditions for fair competition between all transport companies.
Yes, thank you for this question, Angel, and this is a big issue. How I can answer to you in the short words? I think the most important is the better legal provision. Of course, I am thinking about the implementation of the posted worker directive. It must be better, but we are working on this. Of course, the compliance monitoring, the authorities and the trade unions have them monitor the implementation of the posted workers directive. That we have just followed the international standards. I think that we have also make focus on the infrastructure and rest areas for the drivers. Also, we have look on the social condition on the working place. But the employees getting fair wages and fair salary. Actually, very important, I think, also for us and for others. This is professional training, and we cannot forget about the language barrier and culture difference. I think they are very important that the overtime is limited because we are talking about the safety at road also for others drivers. And but we cannot match these goals without the bilateral cooperation and cooperation between us, for example, trade unions. So I think this is very important that we will be part of this project with our friends and colleagues from another country, because through the cooperation, we have more chance to implementation of the posting workers directive in the correct and effective way.
Querido Arthur, muchísimas gracias por tus respuestas a las cuestiones que te hemos planteado.
Thank you very much for all your answers. and also for those final conclusions. I am convinced that the information contained in this interview will be useful for all employees, employers, social partners, or representatives of public authorities who will be listening to this podcast. And I'm also convinced that this information will also dispel many doubts that still exist about this topic. And I also hope that this information will be used to increase the social awareness of the topic and the challenges faced by posted workers in the road transport sector, and which challenges still exist. Thank you very much for your help.
Thank you very much, Angel, and I am absolutely agree with you. Thank you very much.